Book us today at 434-879-6777. Again, that's 434-879-6777. The 7th Black Awakening.
Everybody right now for tuning in to MB3G channel, the Street Hype channel. Once again, this is a cultural awareness ministry. This time, I come to bring some, some information to the streets. It's about my book. If y'all not familiar, for those that have supported me, much love to you all. For those that haven't, it's called The 7th Black Awakening. Now, I did this book about 3 years ago, 2016, going into 2017, did a few lectures. You catch some of the stuff on MB3G channel. Also, make sure you subscribe, we like your comments, and of course, that thumbs up button, fam. So what we have here, the 7th Black Awakening, 2017 series. Like I said, this is #1, and this is slavery from past to present. Are we still slave? It's a workbook, #1. I call it a workbook, more or less. You got to go ahead and just don't take my word for it. The information first, you got to read it. Then it comes with a DVD. Actually, I got 2 DVDs that it comes with. Get in contact with me at the number that you see at the beginning or at the end of this show. That I hope y'all stay with me until the end, okay? Because I hope to bring some information to the community, especially our African community. I see a lot of people out here protesting right now. Things are getting really heated. I see people tearing down statues and Confederacies. This thing is getting real heated out here, fam. And definitely tune in, because I got more information to come. But for today, let's get back to what I was saying about the book. If you haven't got it, by Cultural Awareness Ministries, get in contact with me, call me, or email me at mb3gee@yahoo.com. You know what I'm saying? But some of the content in here is, I'm going to go through this right quick before I go into the lecture series. They say everything's quarantined now, so, you know what I'm saying? I need for y'all to book me out there. I haven't done this lecture I'm ready to give y'all now, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I did 3 years ago. That was the last time I even did anything. So, yeah, call me in. I got different information. Also, a certified consultant, you know what I'm saying, holistic consultant. So I'm going to be also sharing some information. As you know, we got book medicines. If y'all not familiar with that, by Whitaker, you know what I'm saying, y'all need to definitely check that out. If you're not familiar with that book, my brothers and sisters in the African community, also all my hood brothers and sisters, they got the Hood Health. You know what I'm saying? If you're not familiar with the Hood Health Handbook, Volume 1 and 2, they have. This is by Allah and Supreme Understanding. So y'all definitely go out and support the Hood Health Handbook, because this is the time right now that I feel that we're going to have to definitely in our community, especially in the hood and around the world, as a melanated man, to definitely try to improve our health conditions, you feel me? Because they saying it's a vicious virus going on right now. So we definitely got to protect ourselves and our immunity. So before I go into that, let me get back to this book, y'all. Apologize going into a lot of long-winded information, you feel me? But let's go into this book, what some of the things be talking about in this workbook. Pretty much be talking about the brief look at how America became great in the American eyes. I kind of go into that. I also got some links I'm going to share with y'all this below this video that y'all go check out. That I did a few of the lectures, some clips and stuff, but it's good to get the whole information, you feel me? Get it all. Go do your own research, have it at your home, up on your shelf or whatever, and make sure that you support it, you feel me? Also, you support us by sharing this video, all our videos, you feel me? And pressing the like button somehow that now moves you up in the YouTube as something to watch, you feel me? So let's move on. Beginnings of the sad greatness of the 13 colonies and the indentured service. So I kind of go into a little bit how a lot of us was already here. I know there's a lot of controversy going on, but we got to also, as we saying, we are the American people. We're dealing with those who came from the British colonies, you feel me? Those who came from UK. So I go into a little basic detail and into more information. Like I say, get the book, and it comes with 2 DVDs, and I kind of go more into that as far as that go. Also look at the brief look at Americans' Pledge of Allegiance since the Romans colony into the medieval fertility. Now, I know what's his name, Copernicus, something like that, the cat with the one knee, everybody getting on one knee and everything, and about the Pledge of Allegiance and about stuff like that, and a lot of us not really knowing the true history and stuff of that nature. I kind of go into that even farther back from the American, go back to the Roman time, go back actually to the Punic Wars, when we go back to Hannibal Barca. If you're not familiar with Hannibal Barca, one of the great African warriors that defeated the Roman army, you know what I'm saying, with the African warrior elephants. You know what I'm saying? I feel somebody needs to give a real story, movie about that, you know what I mean? And understand about how we got the name Africa because Scipio Africanus, you know what I'm saying, finally defeated my man Hannibal, actually when he was old, you feel me? He was the kid that was one of the very few survivors when he massacred almost all the male population of the Roman army, in which they pledged to get revenge. You know what I'm saying? You have mothers back home that was fatherless, still with their chastity belt on and stuff, you know what I mean? Waiting for their soldiers to come back, you feel me? And they didn't come back, you feel me? So they pledged to always take revenge. So yeah, I go into that a little bit in this book. Like I said, I'm not going to go into that right now today, but I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what I talked about. Also, I talk about the trickery within their history. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things been switched up, changed up over time. People came out with their own information, so I give some bits and pieces of some of that information. Thirst for Melanin and the Albus Cannibals. I talk about the cannibalism, okay, and the thirst for melanin, even to this day, about selling our body parts and harvesting our body parts and stuff of that nature. I go into that detail and how much they even worth. You know what I'm saying? I think a melanin is worth $325 a gram or something like that. But anyway, that's another story. Get the book right here, Are We Still Slaves? The Southern Black Awakening. Like I say, you get the one DVD for one price, or you get the one with the 2 DVDs for another price. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up and I'll tell you how that works out. You feel me? And then we got the special religion instructions for the Negro slave property. For a lot of those who don't know, they had special religion instructions for the slaves. Okay, they even had a slave Bible. Y'all can look these things up, fam. Just don't take my word for it. It's one thing about cultural awareness. You know what I'm saying? Knowing is only half the battle. You feel me? You got to go ahead and do your own researches and practices and so forth and so on. No matter what you learn from whoever. You feel me? Make sure, you know what I'm saying, double check the information. But anyway, let's move forward. Brief look at the 13th and 14th Amendment. We have no nation. We have no rights. Modern day slaves. So I kind of go into the 13th and 14th Amendment briefly. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a movie came out on Netflix on too. It's called 13. Y'all can go ahead and check that out. They give you some information as well on how it went down on the 13th about some of the language that was in it. You feel me? And we have no nation. We have no rights. Modern day slaves. Now look at this, family. We have no true nation, family. That's what we out here protesting and say we're going to change this and change that. Well, we're going to get into that in a minute once I go into this particular piece. I might have to break this right now into 2 segments. But anyway, we're just going to call this the intro of the Southern Black Awakening. You know what I'm saying? This was actually 2017, going to 2020 now, and up to 2024 and beyond. You feel me? So right now, let's move forward. Reaganomics and the effects it left pretty much on the black community. So pretty much go into a briefings of from Reaganomics time up until now. You know what I'm saying? Actually. But anyway, get the book, Are We Still Slaves? From Past to Present. Workbook, this is number 1. Like I said, I'm going to work on some other books, so it's coming out. Alright, 7 Black Awakening books. You feel me? And the last on this is solutions, theory. How we break free within the land of the free. So, does he give us some basic theories of solutions? Like I said, I also got some trivia questions in the back, about 30 or 40 of them. You and your family sit down with your kids, exercise your brain cells, and see what y'all really learn. Enough of me running off the mouth about this. You know what I'm saying? Let's get down to what I'm making this video for real. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, right here. When I zoom in, I got right here. Peace out to our elder. You know what I'm saying? No longer with us, William Chancellor. Okay? Chancellor Williams, I'm sorry. The destruction of the black civilization. You feel what I'm saying? One of the great scholars within the African communities. You see what I'm saying? On the black communities, whatever you would like to label yourself. We're going to get into briefly some of that today. Then we have the ISIS papers from Queen Mother, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. So, you know what I'm saying? So we got that up here. Those are two books that you're seeing around me right now as we go into this piece and information. So like I said, welcome to Cultural Awareness Ministries. Not here to tell y'all a bunch of religious stuff, nothing like that. We kind of share things about our culture, give you some awareness. Just don't take our word for it. We always suggest, we want you to do your own research. We also hopefully have some links for you, and hopefully they still work. A lot of stuff they pulling down immediately. You feel me? This might even get pulled down. I don't know. Either way, share it immediately. You feel me? Download it, whatever you gotta do, record it. I don't care. Just get the information out there to the streets and to your family, and before we can move forward as a people. You feel me? That's what it's about right now. So let's move forward right now, fam. Like I already mentioned, my name is let me see, make sure everything is working here. Okay, here we go. So my name is Mr. B. I don't know if y'all can see this screen. I'm trying to get it to where y'all can also see the screen. So y'all work with me, and hopefully we can make this thing happen. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm from VA pretty much. My name is Mr. B. Copeland, and I think y'all, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I made this particular piece 3 years ago. Okay? Actually, it was October 24th, 2017 that I made this particular piece. But I felt that some of the information that I shared back then was relevant for now, 3 years later. So let's see what I was saying back then. So, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, you know what I'm saying, I worked in the community for over 20 years. As a degree author of turntables. And I also do try to do a little media work, catch what's going on in the streets. Y'all, if y'all are a subscriber of the MB3 channel, you probably checked out some of the different videos that we already have and the type of work we've been putting in over the years in the community. I found out when I was 30, today is also Juneteenth. Yeah, let me mention that as well. Today is Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what time is it? About 7 o'clock? Yeah, about 7 p.m. No, 6 p.m. exactly. So it's all good, 6 p.m. and it's Juneteenth right here in 2020. And pretty much, I found out that my great-grandmother was pretty much, in a sense, freed in 1902 from Texas. You know what I'm saying? So it's an honor to be among y'all that's tuning in right now. Like I said a minute ago, please subscribe, comment. You know what I'm saying? That way we can have some dialogue back and forth, challenge the brain cells. You feel me? That's what it's about right now. Alright? So let's move forward. So also, I'm from one of the most powerful religious cities in the world right now. And today's subject that I want to talk about is, are we the black family prepared for 2020? Like I said, this is something I did 3 years ago. So y'all bear with me. I got to regurgitate over the information in these spatterware brain. I haven't even done a lecture in 3 years. So I'm doing the last one that I did. And a lot of y'all didn't get it because I accidentally erased it. You know how it is sometimes, anybody into video editing and stuff, man. You have them bloops and blanders, you feel me? And it's just a heartbreaking situation. But, you know, it happens to the best of us, you feel me? So we got to still move forward, and here we go. Are we, the black family, prepared for the year 2020? So it's something that I bring amongst the group that I was with in D.C. Peace out to the Black Power movement and all them brothers and sisters up there. And what the first thing we discussed was, like, start off by building our immediate community. Now, how many of you all out there on the for real know at least your block? Every person on that block. You know what I'm saying? In your community. You feel me? So part of community building, I feel, because we out here protesting, we out here saying we want this change and that change, we have to start at community level. So it goes community, city, state, federal. Okay? Again, community, city, state, federal. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, look into these things, what I'm saying. So we got to do things in the community base. So do we even have a true community anymore? We used to in the 60s and back beyond that. We had to, right? But then those who say, hey, we don't really need our own community. Let's just be with others and vote for others and be around with others and so forth and so on. As you see, 30 years later, 40 years later, 50 years later, we don't even have a grocery store. We don't have no more laundromats, no more movie theaters. We don't have what else do we have? We still got the beauty salons and hair salons and stuff and barbershops. Okay. Peace out to my brothers and sisters that are still holding that part of business down, giving brothers a skill of entrepreneurship. But we was very self-efficient. We had what was called the Black Wall Street. They getting ready to come out with a movie with that. And this is some of the things that I'm talking about. They knew their community. We don't even know our 1 block radius. Do you really know your whole? Right now, we need to get out there and learn our community right now. Because the simple fact, when things go down like they're going on right now, how can we assist each other? Especially when they have different lockdowns, man. Talking about if you come outside, they got guns in your face, talking about get back in. It is 8 o'clock. And sundown town laws. These laws is from, some of these laws are from old laws. Actually from the Jim Crow days. You know what I'm saying? Look up the sundown towns, okay? And what they meant. By the time the sun was down, the black man had to be out of the road. He could get home, shot at, whatever the case may be, bent. You feel me? Matter of fact, they saying this last week, or so within the last week or so, last time I heard, was at least 5 hangings. Some say it's suicide, some of them, whatever the case is, people are hanging from trees again. So, just like in the 1920s, here we is in the 2020. So, like I started off, like I said, building our immediate community, fam. Then we're going to go in, how many live in a dominant African black community? Because right now, things are being gentrified. We got gentrification going on everywhere. I don't care what city I'm going into right now. So, for those who know about gentrification, I'm not going to go into a lecture there right now. Please do your research. Please find out. There's a lot of brothers and sisters out there strong on these topics. Know way more than me, actually, on them topics. However, I'm just throwing it out there for you to also have cultural awareness. You feel me? So let's move forward. How many know everybody in the 1 block radius, like I just said? I also have watched the youth grow up around you. Know and familiar with the youth on your block. These kids like this don't have no guidance, man. I'm out there, you know what I'm saying, a couple of weeks ago, whenever, y'all seen some of the protesters, and I walk up on the block with them, and it's just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? It was just a younger generation. They really had no true guidance and knowing about boycotting and other methods other than, you know, forget it, burn it down. You feel me? But whatever the case is, I'm just saying that do we know the people within a 1 block radius? We're going to have to start knowing immediately. Start doing what's called co-op. Co-op, even co-op schooling, co-op gardening. You know, sharing what you got in your little garden space. Let's move forward. I ask these questions because some communities have been black for years before the modern day gentrification projects. So what I'm saying, what I was saying back then, even saying today, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of our communities, I can't think of none right offhand, or we have one here, I think it's called Clarksdale or something like that. But I think it's still hanging on by a thread, I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there's been a lot of communities that were just strictly black ring. Even our communities to a degree, 5th Street and all these other different places, what's called the College Hill community. We, you know what I'm saying, had a source of income and stuff like that within that community. And it was dominantly African American. Even the teachers that lived in their community taught at the schools. They knew the community, you see. So we had that our own type of nation in a sense, our own village that I'm going to talk about in a second, that they talked about in 1995, Hillary Clinton and them, Biden, all the Criminal Bill Act. Alright? So let's look at this. So I'm just asking the question because some of the communities, like I said, used to be all black. We used to have stores, we used to have, like I said, doctor's office, food rooms. We had the accessories of that modern time. If we kept it up, we have all the accessories of this time. But we don't have, like I said, not one thing really for our peoples to do. Let's move forward. So, I feel we need to ask the question how much of the county lines was owned by Africans before it became annexed to the city and known as black neighborhoods. So, we had different counties. This actually was dominantly African American or black or whatever you want to label yourselves, okay? We need to ask the question, how much of that county line was because once it was annexed, what do that mean? That means that the areas of the city and the town that may have been owned by the free blacks or Indians at the time, because a lot of free blacks and Indians, especially after the war of 1865, the concubines and all of them, they started forming these little towns, little cities, okay, all around the nation, okay? Because they had to still find a way to, even though they was called free, they still had to provide for themselves, okay? With the city, and it became part of the ordinance, codes, and statutes. So this is what I want to get to right quick. Because once we annex, once we say, okay, we would now want to be equal, we want to be part of the system, we now had to fully follow their ordinance, codes, and statutes, in which at one time we, in a sense, had our own ordinance, codes, and statutes. So the ordinance, codes, and statutes is actually becomes law within that city or county. That don't mean it's really state or federal law. And so right now, if we understand that they even showed you a few months ago that each state has their own power right now because of the pandemic. I mean the pandemic. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So because of that, right now, okay, each state has their own control and own way they doing their thing. Their own city or town or county ordinances, laws, codes. They even pulling up old codes in some places. And we need to recognize this and realize what is really going on while we're protesting and while we're out here turning down things, which I'm going to get to in a minute, and also while we're out here, I guess, how can I say, in a sense, terrorizing, okay, different communities and different cities, you know what I'm saying? Because they had some against that for years since 9/11 about being a terrorist. That's why they came with the Patriot Act 1 and 2. And they definitely have something about domestic ones. So I'm just saying, we need to look at these things carefully, get our information, do a little research. Just don't take my word for it. And I'm going to move forward to the next thing, in which the city is functioned by combinations of towns that made a city the main central business hubs for that state. So let's look at this, fam. If you look at it, I don't travel thousands of miles. I ain't been everywhere, but I've been somewhere. And most of the places I'm saying I've been, you know what I'm saying, I have traveled. I remember doing what I called my Midwest tour. I went actually through Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, cut up through Oklahoma, Illinois, what else up there? Wait, Ohio, I think it is, Michigan. Well, all up in there. I stopped in Michigan for a minute, visit some family members, and then moved through West Virginia and back to Virginia. And what I seen was, for hundreds and hundreds of miles, farmland, man. And then we get towards a little town. You know, when you get into a town, it look like the towns now, all of them looking the same. They're the modern type of towns, you know. Some of the same stores, you know what I'm talking about, without me going into the list. Okay. Then I get into a city area. Okay, that's the main hub of the counties, of the counties that's around it. That's the main hub of them little towns. Okay? And we got to understand how the system is going right now. And we don't really have too many towns left. I think there's a couple of them still left in the United States that's all black, African populated. Let's move forward. We are not a country, but combined states that's governed by the main corporate business headquarters right there in Washington, D.C. Since the act, I want everyone to look this up right now. Okay? You got your phones, they can Google it, whatever you got to do. You set the computer, even better. Look up the Act of 1871. Please carefully read that. And also see that we are a corporation. We're not really a nation. Okay? We have states. And the states and the colonies and all that goes back. We even got, like I said, we have to go back to past to understand some of the present. You understand what I'm saying? So the Act of 1871, that's when the District of Columbia became the District of Columbia pretty much. It's not really a state, county, none of that. Okay? It's pretty much a district. And this way they have the laws, and people from all over the different states come and congregate and pass stuff, right? And that's what we are here, I feel a lot of them is out here for, is to protest to change these things. Okay? But us in the African and black community, we have to understand that, do we truly have our community together? Like I just said, do you even know anybody on your one block radius? Do you have a community council? Okay? You need to have a community council. And within your council, y'all can then go to the city. You can have also somebody on the city board that represents from y'all councils of our communities, of the melanated human man. Y'all follow me? Then don't think this is about racism, because it's about the race towards, you know what I'm saying, self-efficiency, being independent. Okay, we are being dependent upon a certain system for so long, till now it's shaky. It looks like it's falling apart. I'm not an expert on it, but a lot of people are saying these things. And it could be any day, any moment, any second that these things can go down. They saying it's a food shortage. You can look these things up. Because they couldn't plant nothing during quarantine, definitely. Who can be out in the field doing a pandemic? Y'all follow me? So let's move forward. The Act of 1871, please look that up. At the same time, they came up with the Civil Bills Act, which Civil Rights Act, I'm sorry, which at the same time, think about this, family. We sitting here in 2020 protesting, talking about a reform, okay, of the way they treating us. Okay, but this goes back to 1871. They had a civil rights bill even then. Was it effective? I don't know, but it seems like we in a sense, regurgitating the same information. It's because we have lost this history, don't really know, don't understand that they are corporations. And within each town, each city has their own little corporate town. You ever roll into a town, welcome to such and such, they say, I can't think of another, I'm going to say Williamsburg right now. I can say Amherst. Established in 17, I think it, 17 something, 60 something. I can't think right now. 1790 something. Anyway, established, and then you have another little sign that says incorporated. Do you even pay attention to the signs, or be too busy smoking a blunt or drinking a booze or bouncing to some music when we go into each little town? Each little town, welcome to such and such. Established in such and such year. Then they have another little sign, incorporated. Somebody have better business bureau, all types of signs. You definitely gonna see, you know what I'm saying, the circumference sign. You know what I'm talking about, without going into all that detail right now. So let's move forward. So we are looking to be effective. I feel we must start, like I just said, at the community level, say hi to our neighbor at least, family. Go and inform or watch. Why instead of these neighborhood watches, that we watching and peeping out of our windows at our neighbors and carrying on. And a lot of y'all don't understand, this is from my personal view and the opinion from seeing things over the years. Not sure if it's still that way. I'm assuming it is, because we're going to be out here protesting still. Okay? I seen in our community, family, we may think it's the cops' fault or the police fault. Yes, it's their fault when they, you know what I'm saying, I call them muncho chop, the cops. Some of them trying to prove some, the tough guys. You have it. But I'm just saying in general, okay? It's not always the cops that just jumping out harassing you. Okay? They have a system, fam, that we must understand. It's part of the homeland security. It's part of being secured in their communities. So they have things to where, hey, you can take a class with them and you get a code name, okay? And if that person sees some activity on their particular block, all they got to do is call. Say, this is code Applejack B. I see 2 black males that look suspicious to me. Can you come immediately? I think they may be doing some illegal activity. And you can hang up the phone. Okay? I'm at such and such address. And hang up the phone. And so immediately they can come at that time, because Applejack B took and see somebody on the corner that looked like a criminal. So they can now jump out. They have the right now to jump out. This is crazy, because I've been in meetings and they ask for these type of things. Like, what can we do to stop this and stop that, stop those folks, those people? I'm like, wow. Then they talking about their own African brothers and sisters, their own little youth in a lot of cases. Because somebody my age or older, we ain't out here wilding too swift. You feel me? We got time for that. We're trying to feed the family and some more stuff and survive. So it's more or less the younger cats. And so they out here, you know, saying, hey, what can you do to solve this? They asking, can you help us? And I don't heard them say in the media, you know, it's against the law to just to do that type of stuff. Then what other alternative do we have? I mean, people scared to death. Okay, because why we don't have a community, a sense of community? This goes back, I kind of talk about that in the book, From Slavery Past to Present, of why we may not have a sense of community. This goes back. There was laws that were set. Okay, even then, for us not to have a sense of community. And even with the King Afro plan, there's the most recent one that happened, and so some other ones. But anyway, let's move forward. Criminal Bill Act. It goes community, villages, town, country, city, state, federal, like I was just saying a minute ago. Supreme Court is what I'm talking about. Okay? So, we can have our community. They talked about villages in the 90s. Yeah, towns, counties, or cities. Okay? I feel we need to collectively look at the real wealth and power of how to own our own. Okay? And have our own land and start back having black towns like the black contrabands, settlement they had to do after the Civil War. And this time we developed a county around a city. You know what I'm saying? We got to build cities. We got to build the corporate bases, as well as the smaller units in towns. This isn't about racism. Because, hey, I can go to any other country and have a passport or whatever and visit them, eat their food, go dancing in their clubs. There's nothing wrong coming and joining our culture. So they don't have nothing to do with racism. Because that's what we're doing. We constantly indulging, spending, from my understanding, from the stats I've been hearing, is that we spending trillions of dollars in someone else's culture and turning money over in another community. And not even coming back into our own community. You see what I'm saying? Trillions of dollars every year, billions, on different products and services that we can start and once used to have in our community. Like I said, really up until late 80s or so, it really was like boom, 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 boom. Crack did us in. Cracked us up. Cracked us down. You feel me? Deep stuff. Let's move forward. Alright, so like I said, we need to really look at this because here soon, you know what I'm saying, another quarantine could come. Different things should happen. What do we have in place within our community? We're too scared to even go outside right now because we're like, man, we might catch COVID. And which we're going to talk about that in the second briefing. I'm not no doctor or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just coming to give you some consulting and some brief information. That's it. Now, like I said, this is information I did about 10,000 black men and children. We can have a town or a black city, okay? Since August the 27th, 1996. Y'all can look these things up. August the 27th, 1996, Hillary Clinton spoke on villages. And it takes a village to raise a child. Okay, what are these villages? What am I talking about? Because I don't say it a couple of times. Okay, I speak on my books and I got some other videos, like so. I may give a link on that. But I talk about the gated communities that's out right now. You got all your fancy stores that we go support. We go into their communities and support that particular community, that village, pretty much. And they got people living all on top of the stores and stuff. I know y'all see this in different cities now. They've been gentrified, okay? So that's what they was planning since 1996. Really before that, but anyway, that's when they really had a campaign on it, we would say. Okay? Let's move forward. So, we call them gated communities, housing communities. Like I said, housing associations, historical associations. These particular type of communities are almost like villages now. They got rules. They sit down and have meetings once a month or maybe even every week. And when things like this is going on, I'm mighty sure they're having them probably every day. And some of y'all don't even know, because y'all don't even know that they even have meetings. They even go to meetings. You get a letter through the mail, you don't really care. You feel me? So, let's move forward. So, they have all the shopping centers, like I just said, within our community. It takes up to 1,000 people to form what they've been calling a village, or one of them areas that we see, or we see in different cities, or even your city right now. Okay? That's about 330 families, 3 or more per home. Create on rules, laws, currency, and everything. Oh, you think I'm tripping? Let's give an example of Liberty Mountain over here. They got something called flame dollars. They got their own brand. Okay? So it's going on in different communities, not in our community. Because we're getting ready to go into a cashless system. They already saying, hey, money is dirty in certain places. I could catch a virus. Okay? So how you going to exchange money and stuff? We get into that in a second. Let's move forward. It takes 1 to 20,000 people to form a town. Okay? Up to 1, look up the smallest town in America. Population. 1 to 20,000 people, okay, can make a town. Then when we get into, okay, it's in Wyoming, okay, it's in Beaufort, Wyoming. That's the smallest one. And Willow Canyon in Arizona, okay? Those are some of the 2 smallest towns in America. That's Beaufort, B-U-F-O-R-D, Wyoming, and Willow Canyon, Arizona. Okay? Let's move forward. Look up the tiniest town in every state. Okay? Their population. Okay? They kind of just got their own little thing going on. Okay? 20,000 to 100,000 is a large town, or what they call like a small little city. Like our capital city would be Richmond. Okay? And then we got like Charlottesville. Then we got Roanoke, different other little cities. Then we got little towns. Appomattox, Madison Heights, Amherst. These are little towns. Gretna. So, like I said, they can be formed from 1 to 20,000 people. Large, they own a small city, 20 to 100,000 people. 100,000 to 300,000 people can get us a whole city, fam. Okay, can y'all see that, what I'm saying here? So, I'm saying that 100 to 300,000 can make us a whole city. So, we got to start community, okay, village, go to the city, state, elected representatives. That's how we got to build small to get there. But when are we going to start? The city is considered the corporate hub, or like I said, the trading center. Okay? That's when certain things can be passed for that particular city. Even the county has little board members and stuff for that particular city. And we can produce or control 6 or 7 main markets. What markets am I talking about? Hair and beauty. We have a group. It's called BOBSA. I don't know if y'all can see it. We can zoom in. Zoom on. Okay, it ain't doing it. So it's B-O-B. It ain't really zooming like on. B-O-B-S-A. B-O-B-S-A. Okay? That's the acronym for them. Okay? Now they doing some fighting for the hair and beauty industry for the African black man. We need to look into these things. What are they fighting about? What are they fighting for? Do they have jobs for us too? We need to look into that. Because they got something going on that they're trying to hold on to. Let's move forward. The sport industry. We need to take that back. Did you know we already had pro baseball that sold out their players to white teams? That's why B.I.E. was so famous. He was one of the first. Okay? So we had sold out arenas People, their arenas, when they went to go see the New York Giants or whoever they are up there, their stuff was empty. They couldn't keep having their economical crises. You feel me? So then they start recruiting black players on their team, or really paying the black teams for some of their best players. Okay? So we sold out our own professional pro teams. Let's move forward. The car industry, fam. Ford stole their design from C.R. Patterson and Son. Look this up. Ford stole their design that they used from the C.R. Patterson and Sons. These was African, these black individuals had their own car companies and factories building cars from scratch. We don't have a company to build a bike right now. You feel what I'm saying? Look, we gotta get the community back together. We can't be protesting and turning up stuff. I understand it's also about the injustice of, you know what I'm saying, our brother and sisters that's been murdered by the panty rollers, which I'm gonna get into in a minute. But at the end of it though, we have to have a purpose and a reason to even be out there. And after you being out there, what work do we need to put in, should put in, ought to be putting in, and so forth. Where do we move forward from here? Do we continue to go back into the same conditions, situations? It's up to us right now. So I'm saying we had our own car industry, sport industry, clothing industry, seamstress. You can't even find somebody within probably 5-10 mile radius is African or black that's a seamstress that I can think of right now. Personally. You can't find nobody even sew your own sock right now. People don't even sew like that no more. They go buy a new, oh man, I got a rip in my clothes. Throw it away. Take it to Goodwill. Whatever the case may be. We seamstress. We don't even have people really, as a matter of fact, I know somebody in my particular family. As a matter of fact, I got maybe 2 people in my family that's seamstress that does that type of work. But on the average, it's not a whole lot of them left like it used to be back in the day. Let's move forward. Paper industry, toilet paper. Y'all seen the problem that we had with toilet paper, didn't you? Huh? Back with this 2 or 3 months ago. Huh? If you didn't stock up, you was in trouble. You feel me? Especially if you made a mess on yourself. If you caught Rona and you had diarrhea with it, you was hurt. You feel me? No disrespect to anybody that lost someone or, you know what I'm saying, have family members with it and so forth and so on. But I'm just saying, I know somebody in my family. I got a family member right now. She's one of my elders. Okay? Well, I'm going to move forward. Toilet paper, the paper industry. We used to have our own press companies, newspapers, stuff like that. Moving forward. Food to put black farmers back to work. That's right, we don't have no food on the end of the day. You see, we got some cats right there that started to do the gardens. We did gardens. I got a video there. I can share the link with y'all that did. We were doing work back in 2009, 10, 11. This year they didn't really plant no gardens, no really community gardens that we had around us anyway, because of, like I said, Rona. You feel me? Let's move forward. So we need to put the black farmers back to work that's hanging on by a thread. You see what I said? They hanging on by a thread, man. So if you don't know anything about the black farmers, do your research. And how can we put them back to work to where they can utilize the land, the very little few pieces that we have left? Because in 1910, it was 218,000 black farmers owned 15 million acres of land. I will say it again. It was 218,000 black farmers, and we own 15 million acres of land. That was back in 1910. Okay? Now, we go up into the 21st century. They saying the stats are reported at 18,000. That's over 200,000 black farmers done, gone. Not only is it 200,000 black farmers done, gone, there's only barely, and they probably still dwindling down. Okay, look, this, like I said, this was 3 years ago I got this information. Okay, so let's move forward. It might be even lower than that right now. We went from 15 million acres of land to 2.3 million acres of land of owning land. Look at that loss. Do we really know what we are protesting and fighting for? It's what I'm saying. No, everybody just fighting for the land back. You gave that up. You moved out of the country because you wanted to live in the city. You thought it would be much better. Because no one really showed you how to create a business within your county. If you had 100, 200, 300, 400 acres of land, you pretty much had enough for a city. I think Dallas, Texas, the actual city part is only 200 acres big. If I'm not mistaken about my mathematics that I'm sharing with y'all right now. Let me plug up my computer right quick. It is going to the... Okay? So, think about that, yo. We lost over and still losing. Because we move out the car. I ain't no country boy. I want to have the bling bling, get my grad, you know what I'm saying? Y'all could have took that money on the road and y'all could have been building them little community villages, them town homes and stuff. That if you go right back to them same counties, there was 13 million acres. A lot of it right now probably got a little town, city on it, all types of construction on it right now. Okay? So, we have a lady that's fighting this, and y'all need to look her up, okay? And see if we can support her in any form of way. How can we support the black farmers, get produce, get things in our community, start opening up some little stores or something. We got to start supporting her own in some form of a way. Her name is Shirley Sherrod. S-H-E-R-R-O-A-D. It's Shirley. I don't know if I can zoom in on it too swift. But yeah, Shirley Sherrod. S-H-E-R-R-O-D. Okay? She's part of the fight for the black farmers of America. So my grandfather was a black farmer. So he was telling me some years back, you know, I was asking him, you know, what's up with him in the farm like that? Why he ain't, you know, growing things like he used to? And he was like, yo, he changed up some rules. I was like, wow. I ain't gonna get into that. That's not like going into a different phase inside of this maze. Yo, the streets are just too crazy right now.
Book us today at 434-879-6777. Again, that's 434-879-6777. The 7th Black Awakening.